Hello, welcome to the channel and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to take a look at the Sanyo MGP600D. Quite a rare unit, there's not much about online about these, so I thought I'd do a very quick show and tell with one here. Now you may ask, why is it in a bag? Well, the short answer to that is I've bought it as not working. It's in parts. I don't think many parts. I think someone's probably tried to get it working and decided better of it. Although fundamentally it should be a fairly simple fix. So before I show you the details of the specifications and what have you, let's see if we can get this up and running. Okay, so first of all, what have we got? We've got the main unit here. Comes with a lovely little case, quite typical of Sanyos from the mid-80s. This one dates from around 1986, I think. And nice little sort of velour, a little velvety lining as well. Put a couple of press studs on there, and Sanyo Electric Co. pressed into the back. This one's made in Korea, and I think they are dated around 1986. This one also has a belt clip as well, and there is a matching lanyard, and there's a bag here with a battery cover and what's that, 4 screws. So I think we should be in business to try and get this working. And the first thing I'm going to do, I think, is get the back off and just see what is or isn't inside. And it's fairly loose. I think, like I say, the previous owner has already unscrewed it. There's 4 screws in total, and then there's a little clip inside the battery compartment which you just pop out. And yeah, okay, right, so first thing I can see is there is some battery corrosion in there. That's quite yeah, a bit nasty. That'll just need cleaning out. Incidentally, it's a well-made unit. It's very heavy and it's got some lovely features which I'll show you later. There's a nice little brass kind of nutsert there so that the actual belt clip does screw in properly into there and will hold securely in time. So anyway, that's the back cover away. So inside then we can see the belt. I'll just zoom you in. And yeah, so okay, well there's the problem. That's slipping, so the belt must have just stretched or dried out a little bit. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's a dual flywheel on this, of course. It's auto reverse, which we'll come to a bit later, but you've got some nice high mass flywheels on here. I'm not sure if they are really brass. They look like they might be, but in any event, metal flywheels, so that's good. Quite a simple belt path, very easy to get to the belt as well, which is great. So yeah, all right, it's slipping a bit though, so we'll put a new one on. We shouldn't have to disassemble it too much at this juncture. We should be able to just get a new belt on there and hopefully it'll work. Obviously we've got to clean up the battery terminals as well. Again, you can see that kind of green discoloration inside there, so we'll sort that out. But that being said, let's just give it a quick test. I'll just put some batteries in and see if anything does work at all. Try and hold them in place and play. No, the play button's down anyway. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Right, okie dokie. So let's try some mains power then. I've got myself an adapter here which is a 3 volt DC positive pin. So this should work, if it does work, of course. Right, let's have a look. Would help if I turned it on at the wall, but you probably just saw it spin up a bit there. And I can hear the motor. Just bring it up to the mic so you can hear it. Yeah, motor spinning, which is good. Right, okay. Yeah, motor spinning, which is good. It means obviously that's free. And it just means we've got an issue with the battery terminals. So let's just put some mains power in. I've got a desktop power supply. And if I just hook this up directly, it should work, if indeed it wants to. Put it on some nice clean metal. And there's nothing there at all. So, what we can deduce from that then is the mechanism does work, it powers up, but there is some sort of issue between the battery contacts and the power switch to the motor. Righty-ho, let's try something obvious first then. So we'll just put a continuity test on between the terminals. This is the positive terminal, and this is where it should come onto the board. Good. And incidentally, from the battery contact surface, yeah, that's not great, which is probably or possibly half the issue. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's intermittent at best. It's okay there, but not, yeah, okay. So that needs a clean. Yeah, and what about the other one? So the black cable, there we go. I was about to say the black cable would come from the battery terminal, but I've just noticed the cable's actually come away. Yeah, and that is obviously due to the corrosion just there. It's obviously taken its toll and chewed away at the connection on that wire. Typically, whilst the mechanisms are quite nice generally, these cables are extremely small. So I'm just going to shave a bit of insulation off. I think in reality as well, I'll probably end up replacing it, because what you find is cables that have sort of rotted a bit or come away from the terminals generally don't take the solder again afterwards anyway, so we may need to just run a whole new wire here. Let's have a look. Right, good. So that is the cable that definitely connects to the battery then. Right, how are we going to do this? We know what the problem is. I think I'm going to clean up this battery contact, and I might just chance my arm and see if I can resolder this back onto the spring afterwards. And I'll clean this terminal as well, then we'll try again with the batteries. If that doesn't work, we'll just run a new wire all the way through there. No point changing the belt at this juncture. We'll do that as the last thing on the way out in a moment. So I'm going to get a steel brush on this contact here. And we'll see if that works. It's not ideal, so I'm going to clean that up with a little Dremel in a minute, just grind that back a tiny bit. But what I will do for now is put a little bit of an acidic substance. I've got some lime juice here, you can use vinegar. I'm just going to start dissolving away some of this battery corrosion. See how it's gone that kind of greeny blue colour? So anyway, I'm just going to clean this up and get ready to solder this cable back on. Get a little Dremel, just grind back that contact on there, and then we'll try it for some batteries, see if we can get it working. I've decided the best way to get in here properly is to actually remove the spring, and this way we can clean it up nicely. It's not corroded or anything like that, so I'm quite confident that we should be able to get all this back together in a moment. There we go. So I've just got the worst of the green off of the contact. I've also wiped it down with some alcohol as well, just to clean it all up, and I've got the soldering iron heating up, because what I'm just going to do is run some flux on that and clean up the old solder to give us the best chance of soldering the wire back on. In the meantime, I'm just going to try and grind this last bit of corrosion off the battery contact for the positive. At least we can rule that out as being an issue as well. Okay, let's just try that one more time then. So, yep, good contact onto the battery face. Right, let's just see if we can get something going on here. Have a little listen. I'm just going to connect this up to the bit of bare wire on the end. I know you can't see that. I'm just holding it up to the mic just so you can hear it. And that is indeed the motor spinning. So good. So we've almost corrected the battery issue. So we'll get this spring soldered, get it back into place, and hopefully this cable will reach. We'll also just tin the end as well, just to give us the best chance before we get started. Okay, well, it looks like that little bit of lead has silvered up a tiny bit, which means that we've got half a chance of soldering it back onto the spring. All good stuff. So now to get the spring back in, get the orientation right so we can pick up the solder. So now we will try again with these two batteries, and hopefully, yep, there's the motor. You can see the pulley's wanting to spin a little bit as well now. Nice. And the LED light was on as well. Good. Right, let's do the job in hand then, which was replacing the belt, and that should have been the hard part, as it were. Although it's not hard on this, all we've got to do now is remove the belt like so. Pretty out of shape, pretty dry, but stretched. So I'm going to go and find another one. The pulleys look nice and clean, polished inside, so there's no need to clean those up. We just get the other belt on. That should be all we need to do. So I've found a new belt here. We should be able to sneak this one fairly easily into position. Just spin her up a few times. Yep, no twists in that, that's all good. And we just make sure that this shield plate isn't interfering with anything either. Happy days. Okay then, so let's just plug this in, see if it works. And there we go. Marvellous. Okay, well, we can adjust the speed a little bit later. I think the potentiometer, yeah, it's just inside the battery compartment, so I'm not going to worry about that too much now. Let's just see if we can get this thing back together. And first, just a quick clean up of the residue from the inside of the case. Right, line up all the switches, and we'll just screw this down. I just wanted to double check there because one of the screws was different to the others, had a different thread, so just wanted to make sure which one was going into metal and which one into plastic. And a quick wipe down just behind where the belt clip is going to go, because then we'll polish the rest in a minute. Put the battery cover on. Nice. Right. Oh, blimey. It's alright, I've just these were wedged. Just having a look at these. There we go, and that one, 4 EQs there, haven't been used for a long time. That's better. Nice. They were jammed in place, hadn't been used for such a long time. There we go. They're moving nice and freely now. Just going to give the head a clean and the tape path in general. So I'll clean these pinch rollers and the capstans, give the outside a bit of a deep clean and a polish, and then we'll take a closer look at it, and hopefully it should all be working by then. Okay, so it's all put back together. So I'll put some power in and just plug in some little period correct Sanyo speakers just to try it for a minute. And here we go. Nice. Okay, so all the features seem to work. Does seem a tiny bit slow though, so I might end up having to just tweak that speed a tiny bit. And I'll do the tape speed sort of quick and dirty. I've got an app here set to 3 kHz. And what I'll do is just have a little listen here with the calibration tape. Yeah, she's a bit on the slow side, so we need to adjust that a tiny bit. You can normally do that from inside the battery compartment, although I note typically on this one you can't, which is a good start. 9 times out of 10 you can get through. This is what those notches are normally for. So for whatever reason, and I did check when I was in there, the board kind of, the potentiometer was on the side that looked like it was facing the battery compartment, but it would appear that you can't actually adjust it without getting the back off. So I have to pull the thing apart again. See you in a minute. And by the way, that just goes to show you how you would have done it. Of course, when you joined me at the top of this video, the back was already off, but that's how you do it. Right, anyway, enough of this nonsense. Yeah, see, there's the potentiometer right in there for adjusting the speed. Yeah, I wonder whether, let me get my tweezers. I wonder whether you get to it, oh flipping heck. Schoolboy error on my part. It looks very much like you get to it from the groove. Let me just get this in line for you. You might just see a little T shape, which is just there underneath. Can't really see it on there. There's a tiny gap there, look. And it was hidden by the battery ribbon. Comes through the same hole. So it was there all the time. Numpty. Oh well, listen, it's off now. We may as well do it. To be 100% sure, we'll do it actually in situ with the back off as well. So let's get this tape back in. And I'm just going to tune this up real quick. I won't subject you to the horrible noise, but suffice it to say, by the time we've finished, it'll all be done. Right, I've got it running pretty good now. I've just taken a quick screen grab. The peak there is the actual frequency that it was detecting, and it's saying 2999.1. I was looking for 3000, so that's close enough for a personal stereo, that's for sure. So here it is then, the Sanyo MGP600D. Actually surprisingly rare and collectible unit from the mid-80s. And this was going to be a very quick show and tell today, but it did have a few little gripes with it. Nothing major, and nothing that we wouldn't really expect from a personal stereo of this age. Basically, both the battery terminals needed cleaning up, and we needed to resolder one of the terminals as well. The belt needed replacing, of course, and a slight tweak to the motor speed was required as well to compensate for the new belt. And we just needed to free up these little sliders here for the EQ. So here it is anyway. Speaking of the EQ, it's a 4-band EQ on this one. Rather nice for a personal stereo. You've got 100 Hz, 500 Hz, 2K and 10K. It also, as you may see from here, has Dolby on there as well, Dolby B, and of course auto reverse. So apart from being a very handsome unit and very weighty as well, a quick overview of the features then. So we've got play just on here, nice big button, and stop is on the top. The idea being that when it's worn on the hip, the idea being it's more ergonomic that way, and it does work really nice, to be fair. The direction button here is for fast and rewind, but in play mode that serves to change the direction of the tape. And the modes for the auto reverse are continuous loop and, or I should say, play side A onto side B, or vice versa. So one is to basically flip the tape and then stop when it's finished, and then this one is continuous loop should your batteries last that long. It also plays your type 1 normal tapes, and it's configured to play type 4 metal tapes on a high bias there as well. On the top we've got your stop button, as I mentioned, single volume potentiometer, Dolby B on and off, single headphone socket, and an operation LED, and of course a nice sturdy belt clip just there as well. Happy days. It's a really handsome unit. It reminds me in many respects, I'll just move the case out of the way, but it reminds me of things like the MG80D auto reverse that was made in Japan, and indeed the MGP30, kind of a hybrid of those. And these are all auto reverse units. MGP30 has a 3-band EQ, whereas the MG80D has Dolby on there. It also has a twin channel adjustment on the volume potentiometer as well. So that's got the Dolby, the metal tape, twin volume. Yeah, but other than that, you can see they're all pretty much the same. One thing they're made in Japan, well, certainly the MG80D anyway, and the MGP30 does also have the LED lights for the direction, and they sort of display one way or the other depending on which way the tape is going. That's missing from the MGP600D, but yeah, gotta say it's actually quite a lot smaller. It's quite a lot slimmer as well, and a tiny bit shorter. So there we go. There's some beautiful little tapes there, aren't there? They've all got their own cases as well. We'll just bring them in. It's a bit like 3-card Monty. So they all come with their little Sportster cases and what have you as well. All rather nice. I do feature some of these other units as well on the channel, so do check out some of my other videos for Walkmans and 8-track players, boomboxes, all that kind of stuff. But as we're here, we'll have a quick listen as well. And remember, the issue was with the batteries, so the batteries are in, he says, just so you can see, in there. And plug these speakers in. And again, some JSX37s from Sanyo, sort of period correct really. They look amazing. They don't sound great. They're only what are they, 200 milliwatts, yeah. So a fifth of a watt each. Not exactly going to blow your mind, but gives you an idea of the tape anyway. So let's put one in. Just try the thing out, shall we? And change direction. And back. Fast forward. Stop and rewind. Lovely. And play. There we go. Super quick, I've got to say. The auto reverse on these units really is almost instantaneous. Quirky little tape there. I'll be making a copyright free tape soon so we can have a bit of a proper listen, but it gives you an idea for now. So there we go, the MGP600D anyway, from Sanyo, 1986, 4-band EQ, auto reverse, Dolby, metal tape facility, and there it is, just for records really. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon. You guys stay safe. I'll see you then. Bye bye.